Chương trình này được bảo trợ bởi
Family Joy, tổ ấm y tế của mọi gia đình, 714 898 0765.
Hi, welcome to the OC Health and Education Show on Little Saigon TV. I'm your host, Julie Yip. To us, OC stands for community because we believe that our community thrives when we come together. We thank you for joining us each Tuesday evening on channel 56.10 and on Wednesday morning. This is a bilingual English and Vietnamese program dedicated to educating, empowering, and inspiring on our community. Today on our show, we have Dr. Scott Comudala from the Center for Community Health. He is here to talk about his work in the community and in research in community and public health, as well as a practical application with virtual reality. Julie Yip kính chào quý vị khán giả của Little Saigon TV trong chương trình Kiến thức y khoa, gia đình và xã hội. Chương trình Kiến thức y khoa, gia đình và xã hội là chương trình OC Health and Education. Chương trình đây là chương trình song ngữ. Julie hy vọng nói về thông tin rất là quan trọng cho quý vị khán giả của Little Saigon TV. Hôm nay trên chương trình, Julie mời được Dr. Scott Comudala. Dr. Scott Comudala là Director of the Center for Community Health. Hôm nay nói về virtual reality, mà thêm nữa về cái công việc của Scott trong nhà nghiên cứu. Dr. Scott Comudala, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks so much for having me on. We've been friends for how many years now?
Oh, 25 plus years. You know, I'm so happy to be able to work with you because, you know, we've been friends and we've done so much in the community together. But I think this is the first time I'm able to talk about your professional work. Can you tell the community about your education and what you do in the community?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of crossover in our interests. So that's why I'm really excited to be here.
Yes.
So my background is in statistics, and that's what I got my master's in and my doctorate, and specifically statistics and public health. And it's really applying statistics to help people live healthier lives. So, you know, statistics have been in the news lately around COVID.
Yes.
Certainly to model the COVID trends. But what a lot of people don't realize is statistics has been around long before COVID. It's just been prominent lately. You know, we need to use statistics to evaluate pharmaceuticals, to evaluate behavioral health interventions, to help people lead healthier lives. So statistics is where I started. That really gave me my kind of go in all of this. And then I've moved into behavioral interventions from that, moved from just analyzing the data to working with scientists to actually develop the interventions and evaluate them on a large scale. So one of my real passions for community programs is bringing technology to bear to help people lead healthier lives.
Well, you know, when you talk about statistics, most of us don't really know what that means, and especially before pre-COVID, I know I was making fun of you a lot.
You did, yes. My wife makes fun of me and a lot of my friends.
Because, you know, you crunch all these numbers, but I think during COVID, we definitely understood that the things that you do is very important because it actually tells us how to make rules, policies, and to protect our community and our community as a whole. As we know, COVID is something that requires everybody's buy-in and everybody's participation so we can get through this together. So thank you so much, Dr. Comudala, for sharing your important work in our community and for having the facts, the numbers to back up why we should behave a certain way and so how we can stay healthier. Thưa quý vị khán giả của Little Saigon TV, trong chương trình Kiến thức y khoa, gia đình và xã hội, Dr. Scott Comudala là một người Director for the Center for Community Health. Dr. Scott Comudala có cũng thiệt ra 3 cái bằng, 2 bằng Master về Public Health về Science, cũng có bằng Doctorate ở UCLA về Public Health. Scott nói về statistics. Statistics là cái số về chất lượng để cho mình phải hiểu về, ví dụ vân vân về COVID, để cho làm sao mình thay đổi cái hành vi của mình về cái cách mình sống trong mùa COVID, làm sao cho mình có cái sức khỏe của cộng đồng. Scott, I would just wanted to kind of recap a little bit about what statistics is and how it applies to our community. I also share with our viewers that you have 2 master's degree and a doctorate degree. You know, I only have 1 master, so I think you got me beat.
I figured my family didn't have quite enough graduations to go to, so I wanted to torment them just a little bit more.
You know, I know that, you know, we've met in the 90s, and we both work with Dr. Sharani, who is, you know, kind of like a mother to us and a mentor to us. And I think what she taught us was to be able to serve our community well, you know, in basically, you know, our Loma Linda background.
Right.
But really, I think it means so much for us on what we do today. Tell me a little bit about how your family, how your child, how your wife influenced your work to transition to a passion project such as the virtual reality.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So, you know, as you mentioned, it really started for me in childhood. My dad was a dentist, my mom had a nursing background, so that community slant, public health, was kind of in the blood.
Okay.
And, you know, fast forwarding years later, getting the degree in public health, and my wife Jeanette, give a shout out to her, and my daughter Sophie. My wife is very much focused on her friends and helping people.
Oh.
So it's kind of a natural partnership there. She's more on the business side and women's ministry. So we work in different areas, but really the focus is on community and helping people.
No, so I know you, hopefully the audience will be able to see some of the photos that we're going to be sharing with the virtual reality. I know you shared with me that, you know, one of the reasons you did it was to help reduce the anxiety that your daughter was having when she had a medical procedure. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So my daughter Sophie, and give a shout out to her too. I'm sure she'll watch.
You don't want to forget your family.
Yeah, you don't want to forget the family, especially the daughter. She's 8 right now, but she had surgery when I believe she was 5 or 6. And, you know, it was a fairly minor surgery. It's the one where they put the tubes in the ears and they scrape a little off the adenoid gland in the back of the throat. And what I realized from that was she was really scared. I mean, let's face it, I had hernia surgery, you know, about 10 years ago now. I was scared as an adult.
Wow.
But at least as an adult, we understand what's going to happen to us.
Correct.
How do you explain that to a child? They're meeting new people all of a sudden. They're being rolled into a room with all this scary equipment. You know, kids in Sophie's class were telling her, they're going to cut your stomach open and all these. So, I mean, she was terrified.
Okay.
And, you know, we're fortunate enough, we have great medical care, you know, the UCLA docs and all that, but still, it was scary. It's a scary experience. So it got my wheels turning, and the work that I do in public health, I've been fortunate enough to work with really great scientists with technology and all that. I had a chance, one of the first that I met at UCLA that does work in VR, Nantia Sutana, she kind of introduced me to that. And it got my wheels turning to think about, why can't we give kids a virtual walkthrough of what's going to happen the day of surgery so they're less scared? And you know, this is being used in a lot of areas. I mean, at Stanford, Jeremy Bailenson has a center where he started this thing with quarterbacks, where they get them, kind of train them for what's going to happen during a play so that they can be better play callers. You know, in the military, we use VR to train soldiers to kind of acclimate them. There's all kinds of applications, civilian, government, military, you know, healthcare applications.
I mean, I hope to, you know, work with you in the future to apply that technology to the Vietnamese community. So if, you know, when we have an opportunity to create the Vietnamese Cultural Heritage Center, I think it's really important that people kind of see where we came from and kind of having that historical experience.
Absolutely.
And I know when I work in the space, in the disability space, you know, it's training adults for adult employment is important, to teaching them what a facility looks like and what they can do. So I know there's so many great applications to the work that you do in the community. So,
you know, I'm glad you brought that up. So actually, this is great. We're announcing it here on your show today. 2 future collaborations that I can see. You know, I love that you mentioned that around VR with the cultural center.
Yes.
You know, right now VR is being used to, for example, I forgot which university, but for archaeology students. So that it's very expensive, obviously, to send people to places like Egypt and whatnot and engage in actual digs. And of course, at some point, you need to do that.
Yes.
But during the training phase, you can actually go places virtually. You know, you can virtually dig, you can virtually see pyramids and whatnot. So, you know, you have such Vietnam is such rich cultural history, you know, and all that. Wouldn't it be wonderful for people to be able to walk into your cultural center, put on some goggles and experience different aspects, you know, historical,
yes.
present day, and whatnot. Of course, you can't taste the delicious Vietnamese food. I've had a chance to go to Vietnam and taste that. Maybe that's coming someday, but at least for now you can see
Correct.
And experience. So that's one thing. The other thing, I know your passion is in autism as well.
Yes.
And I think that's really important. And that's crossover into what I want to develop too, sparked by Sophie's experience, is that as scary as surgery is for adults and then kids, think about for autistic kids especially. And so I know you've told me there's something called front loading
Yes.
with medical procedures, right?
Correct.
Just think about what we could do to let them virtually experience and to acclimate autistic kids.
Well, you know, Dr. Scott Comudala, I know you have so much to share. We're going to have to go to a commercial break.
Okay,
but
let's
continue
do that.
our conversation and share with our audience about what we can do to help our community.
Absolutely.
Julie cảm ơn quý vị khán giả của Little Saigon TV. Sau vòng quảng cáo, chúng tôi sẽ tiếp tục nói chuyện với Dr. Scott Comudala, the Director for the Center of Community Health, về nói về chương trình của VR, Virtual Reality. Cảm ơn quý vị khán giả của Little Saigon TV.